Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll continue on with our unit review. This is the newest edition for the Orks. That was a free unit that was released to anybody that has purchased the Ork DLC here with the latest patch that has been released. Quite interesting. This is considered just a basic fast attack unit, so that means you can actually get quite a few of these guys in your army to help you get around. It's definitely a pretty cool looking vehicle. It's got, multiple orcs in here. We're continuing to have our speed boys moving around here because now we're going to end up having these quick vehicles here. We're going to have access to war bikers, death dreads. You then have the death copter, and you have your death killer war trike as well. So you can definitely build out almost a full mechanical orc army now if you really wanted to. And then these guys are considered just fast attack units, so effectively this is going to be your orc version of the land speeder, probably more equivalent to the tornado land speeder if you're familiar with the Blood Angel units here. So first, if you're enjoying these videos, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. So this unit here costs 140 requisition. For those 140 requisition, you're getting a unit that has 225 health, 1 action point, 5 movement, 7 armor, and 10 evasion. It has the rivet cannon here. Now, I'm not super excited how they put this together. I mean, it's a good weapon by all means, but I don't like that it's showing that it has splash damage, even though it doesn't actually do splash damage. So while it shows that it's doing splash, you have to see that it has that ×0 to show you that it's not actually doing splash damage. So that may confuse some newer players. But what this weapon does is you get 8 attacks. Each attack does 18 to 24 damage, but it's 4 armor piercing. So effectively, this is a better ranged weapon than the heavy bolter is. It has an optimal range of 5, so you actually have a little more range, and that's going to allow you to do some hit and run abilities with these guys. It has a range of 1 to 8, which is actually huge when we start getting into its special abilities. It has a base accuracy of 80%, and then it falls off at 5 accuracy per tile, so that can actually be really good too, because every 3 turns you're going to get a free heavy flamer attack, so you're going to be driving these guys into a little bit of close quarters combat, and even in the optimal suboptimal ranges you should still be able to land some decent hits with your rivet cannon here, because as we talked about, the free attack is the burner exhaust, and it literally shoots flames out of the exhaust from the engine here. And it has a base damage of 6 to 9, armor piercing of 2. It has a range of 1 to 1, and it has a cooldown of 3. Now, what I'm not sure about is when you're actually playing with this, it gives you different numbers in the game, so I'm not actually sure which is the correct. Because sometimes when I've been playing around with these on matches, it says that it has armor piercing of 3, and then it says the range is 1 to 1.5 squares. And so I think that's can cause confusion, because people are going to think, oh, this is going to be like a heavy flamer, so I'm going to try to flame through multiple tiles, but it only has the range of 1. So there is some inconsistency with the damage numbers that it's putting out, but it does fairly consistently attack like a heavy flamer, except with 1 range. So that's why I was saying I consider this to be kind of like an equivalent to a tornado land speeder for the Blood Angels. But going into the special abilities here, it's the Riveted Daka. And so what this effectively does is now, if we're going to say this is like a land speeder tornado, this Riveted Daka is going to be the equivalent of the abilities for the Astra Militarum with their multi-laser attack with the armored sentinels. So what this does is it lets you attack up to 3 units that you get to select with the rivet cannon here. So as long as they're within range, and your range is all the way out to 8, you can attack with half the amount of shots, because it says you're going to do -4 shots per attack, so it normally has 8. And then you're also going to be doing 10 less damage, so that means your base damage is going to be 8 to 14 times 4, so still actually not terrible amount of damage that you're going to be doing, since you have 4 armor piercing. So if you're going to be attacking infantry, you're still going to be able to do some damage to the models. But when you're doing this, effectively any model that you're attacking is now going to lose their Overwatch stack, and they're also going to get hit with a -10 accuracy and a -1 movement, and that's going to last for 1 turn. You can do this every 2 turns. And so you can use this vehicle to effectively destroy a lot of Overwatch at very long ranges here, since you have it all the way out to range of 8. So as long as you have a vision tile going out 8 tiles, you can hit guys with this ability out to that distance and help you really nullify a lot of Overwatch. That may be with your Hell Blasters with the heavy plasma incinerators, if you're playing against other orcs, you know, not worrying about Ludas or Flash Gits if those are in the way. Your Tau players are going to definitely have troubles. Now they'll be able to help mitigate some of this accuracy penalty you'll be putting on them, because they'll be getting buffed up with some of their marker lights and other things, but this can be a huge issue. And then the other thing is you can, once these guys get very injured, it's a vehicle, so it does have the explosion volatile mechanic, and that's been buffed up pretty significantly to make it uniform across the map. So it sometimes feels a little bit weird that, you know, your war bike is going to blow up for the same amount of damage that your custom boom blast is, when it's going to do the same kind of damage as a massive death dread or a tank. But I think this was causing confusion by having such variable damage potentials and no differences in the icons. So in that way, I think it's good that they're making it universal with the same kind of damages, so everybody can just know, okay, I'm going to blow up a vehicle as a volatile trait. I need to be aware that it's going to do pretty massive damage. But again, I think it needs to tell you what the splash is, because some of them will splash and deal damage to everybody, or some of the other volatiles seems like they're not doing max splash to all the units in the squad. So I do think they still need to have a little more standardization here. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a very interesting unit to use, and especially on like strategic command maps, I can see this being a real nightmare, because now the orcs are going to have a very viable full mechanical build. So I'll do a quick match here against the skirmish AI here. Here's an example army that I have set up. You know, I have the weird boy, because he's going to be able to buff our damage by 15% while giving a 10% damage mitigation, so that should help these guys stay alive. I'll bring a big mech here, so that way we can get the custom force field to help protect ourselves from any range damage these guys may be taking, while also being able to buff up their armor by another 1 and increase their evasion by another 10%. So now these guys are going to have 10 evasion, 8 armor, and that's going to be almost as much as your basic war biker here with 2 more armor there, so that's going to be huge. And then these guys can also heal up the vehicle for an additional 30 health every turn, and then you can give it another armor. So now all of a sudden you're talking about bringing these guys all the way up to 9 armor, which is some of the, like, consider this to be a super heavy vehicle, which seems a little bit ironic, since that's more armor than some of the tanks are while you're talking about a war buggy. But this is how you're going to make these guys be incredibly overpowered, because I think what people are going to be doing is using these to take out infantry, light to medium vehicles, and then they're going to bring the big mechs here to be able to buff them further. And then with their custom Mega Blasters being changed within a couple of patches here, where these are actually doing pretty good damage now as well, you can use these guys to assassinate vehicles and leaders, because these guys by themselves are going to be putting out 140 to 180 damage against vehicles. So this is going to be a real nightmare. And then with the amount of shots that this rivet cannon is going to get out, your tier 1 ability giving you 40% extra shots is going to be even more painful for these guys, especially if you get it to sync up with getting 40% extra shots for your Burna exhaust and your rivet cannon here. So what I'm doing is just bringing a full mechanical build. We'll have the Death Dreads to help us kill and lock down guys in melee, and then we can also have a pretty decent super long range weapon with the big shooter here. The custom Boosta Blastas to just have a lot of mobility and take down any low tier infantry that are in our way. We'll have the war bikes to have a bunch of evasion, and then also be able to shoot anybody that's in our way. And then just a couple of Gretchen to finish off our 1500 point build here, to just have some guys to soak up some damage and also block some attacks that are coming in. Now, the other thing you can do to buff these guys further is you could bring out a Pain Boy, and then with his Dock Is In ability, you can now give your custom Boosta Blasters 15% additional health. So, you know, you're talking about over 30 health bonus just with that Pain Dock being over here. So that can be a big buff to you as well. Now, theoretically, you can also buff them with the Death Killer War Trike. I still don't think this makes a lot of sense. Yes, it can give you a lot of mobility because you can use the speed boss. And what that does is it'll give your units an additional movement that are mechanical, give them 20 momentum, but it's going to cause them to have a 10% ranged accuracy penalty. And this only lasts for 1 turn. So I don't think that exchange is really going to make a big difference unless these guys are going to be so close to surging that you can pop that down and then use the empowered riveting DACA ability. So for the most part, I'm still pretty negative on the Death Killer War Trike here, but you could certainly play around with that to see if you needed to buff these guys' movement up further. That could potentially work for you, but I think these other units that you have are going to buff them way better than what this War Trike is going to give you, especially at the cost that it has. I mean, he's a good unit, but it's just hard to use because of the penalties that he's applying to your other guys here. So let's play around with a custom map here and see what I can do to show off how this unit functions just against the AI here. So we'll get set up. I'm going to play the Imperial Ruins just because that allows us to have the quickest map here. We'll do Exterminatus, unlimited turns, 100 points. Get our Orks out here with our Tester Army. There we go, 1500 points. And who do we want to fight here? I don't know if it really matters. Maybe it just defaulted to the Tyranids and see if they'll bring out a lot of units that we can shoot up to play around with our ranged attacks here. Alright, well, let's get our guys deployed out here then. This is going to be a little bit awkward to get these guys deployed because I have them set up in a way that we're kind of limiting the mobility here because I have so much high mobility units. But we'll do something like that. Now I am going to use a program called Cheat Engine to just speed up the turns. So if you're wondering how I'm speeding up the gameplay, that's what's going on. Alright, let's move these guys up. And you should be able to go all the way up to here. Oh shit, see I screwed that up because I broke their cohesion there because I was being a little bit sloppy with my movement. Alright, let's get you up to here. And then you can run all the way up to there. You can come up to here. Get you over here. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that my main problem right now is having actually too much mobility to get these guys into where I want them to be.
We even shoot quicker. He's needing some duckering. I can feel a scrap coming.
But yeah, you guys, I think you could just effectively, and if you're doing Exterminatus or something too, I think these guys would be real problematic because you can just sit there and just kite units over and over and over again. Alright, so I guess we're going to just set up our firing line here. Can get him over here to just attack anybody that's going to be coming from that direction. Bring that war bike over here. Bring one up this way. Yeah, so you can see they're all moving over for us already. So we're going to have to set up some overwatches here for sure. Do something like that. Try to get these guys up as much as possible. I doubt we're going to have to worry much about range damage this turn, but we'll start buffing everybody here. And the big thing is we would like to be able to suppress any sort of charges that may be coming in against us here. Let's see, it's 60%. So I guess let's just set up the overwatch. Let's see. And so here you can see it's giving you those variable ranges. Now it is doing armor piercing at 2. I thought it was giving me an armor piercing of 3 on another match I was doing, but maybe I'm mistaken about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I suppose the alternative option is maybe they've already made some changes to it since I was playing around with these the first time. Alright, let's just kind of set these guys up to try to do as much overwatch as possible to suppress that big guy from coming in and trying to charge us. So let's do something like that.
Nice of them to test me guns.
This is what I was worried about. He's going to use this gargoyles to soak up my Overwatch, because you don't get to select which units are doing the Overwatch. Alright, that was actually the best guy that he could have charged. That's what I was worried about, was that damage there. Ooh, shit, that's... Oh, I'm surprised that didn't blow up that vehicle. Yeah, I think we're gonna maybe lose one of these guys on the very first turn here. Yep, we sure did. Alright, so... I was hoping that these guys are going to be able to attack the shockwave cannon. Is that still a viable option is the question. Let's do this. And you have a 55% chance to hit. So I think we'll probably do that. Okay. And then what I can do is we'll move you up to here, and then with your heavy flamer, you should be able to kill the prime. There you go. And I would like you to attack the hive guard here.
Red ones, go faster!
So let's get you over to here. And then your blind is here. So let's just bring you up to there to lower his evasion a little bit more. And then run away. And you need to start shooting into these guys, so they do not kill all of our guys here. Because they definitely are hard hitting. Alright, let's just turn you so none of these melee guys can get over here and mess us up. That was probably a mistake, because now a Hive Tyrant could potentially fly over there and attack us. Well, you're here, so let's just use your heavy flamer to take that guy out. And then you can attack here and just finish these guys. Or not. Well, let's move you over to here, and we'll get the heal going, because I do need you to survive. Oh, can I only use one ability per turn? I don't think I remembered that being a thing. Well, let's let you shoot into here. Oh, I actually didn't think you were going to actually get the kill there. Alright, have you shoot into here and start trying to liquidate those guys. That's considered heavy cover, huh? I find that pretty hard to believe. Well, let's start working on these thornbacks then.
Boss! 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 With or without extra dagger?
Those guys can start working on the gargoyles. While body blocking. Start having you shoot into that hive tyrant. Because he's actually scary. You can shoot there and fail apparently. And then we'll bring these guys up this way to try to body block a little bit. Hide you into here so hopefully he doesn't charge through with the thorn back. Bring you up to here so you stay within cohesion. Oop, I left him facing the wrong way. That's not good. Alright, Thornback's there. Alright, good. I was hoping the guys here were going to aggro them enough. Big hit. Yeah, they're actually doing a swarm build against us here. We don't quite have enough. Let's see here. How do I want to do this? If I bring you down to here, you should be able to shoot here. Good. Now I can come over and just punch him right in the face. But if I could get some kills, that might help me get enough momentum. Well, let's just attack here. Okay. Is that going to get us up to 1? Oh, we're just short. It's because what I was hoping is that I was going to buff these guys enough that I was going to get those extra shots to help me kill these guys. Let's see, are you engaged? You are not. I can't move you or you'll take damage. Well, let's just fire into these guys and see if I can kill. The hive tyrant. I mean, I definitely can. We'll just have to move you over to here and punch this guy in the face like that. Then we'll move you back over here to act as our front line. And the Hormagaunts actually do the most damage, so we'll just start killing those guys. You can shoot over here. And now we got Mr. Rivet. So you can kill guys there. Actually, that's a better chance to hit. Actually, let's just move you up to here and have you start smoking these Hormagaunts. And then you can just try to take out these gargoyles and fail, apparently. I was hoping that was going to stop them from getting more synapse buffs going. Ooh, damn.
nubbins fixed up.
Alright, so you're here. He did kill my... I was hoping he did not kill you, but apparently he did, so I ended up losing all of my points there. Now let's start working on the thorn back here.
Red ones, go faster!
He's down.
Move him away over.
And we'll just finish that guy off. And you can just start killing all these guys. Ooh, I don't want to do that. Okay. Well, I guess you can't run away. And he's giving you a zone of control because he's got that different weapon loadout, so you're going to have to attack there. Well, let's move you over that way. You can be here and blow those guys up, I guess. And then Mr. Rivet. Let's try to shoot these guys, I guess. There you go. You can keep locking these guys down into melee, and if they do kill you, then you can blow up. We'll just buff up our vehicles a little bit, get you over here.
What are we waiting for? Taking a bath. Oh, yeah, what was that? Dread's taking a bath. Shields and armor holding nicely.
And so, if we were going to use our ability here, you know, we can come up to here. We can flame these guys down. Just take all those guys out. And we can do our rivet ability. Because it'd be like, okay, we'll try to shoot into these guys. Oh, see, I'm just barely out of range for that. I'd have to move up one, it looks like. So if I got you to here and use the rivet ability, I can do that. Really? Why is this not working right? Here, here, and here. You can see he gets 4 shots with each one there. And so that stopped us from overkilling. And then it's going to affect their movement. So it could still help you and definitely harass your opponents.
Red ones, go faster!
Get that healed up.
Tinkering.
Get you over to here and start sniping those guys down. But as you can say, they're okay. They're not like super OP, but when you start stacking them in with all the other orc units, they're definitely going to be problematic to deal with for sure. Especially when you're taking into consideration all these other forces and all the significant mobility, because now the orcs are going to have, you know, multiple fast movement units in addition to having jump pack infantry, so it's just going to allow them to completely outmaneuver a lot of other factions. Now the Blood Angels already do that themselves because they also have full mobility. but it's going to be a little oppressive for the Orks, because I think they're definitely one of the best factions so far. And then again, this is just going to give them more tools to be able to deal with the situation. I do like the free units, but it's going to be a little bit tough. I just wish they would give the free units to some of the units that, or some of the factions that actually have difficulty with their rosters and major holes. I don't feel that this is really filling a niche that the Orks needed, because effectively your war bike already kind of filled this niche. But the big thing for them is it's going to let you take out those overwatches, so I could see that being a real nightmare for different players depending on the situation when you're playing with them, for sure. And then you can sit there and empower the ability as well. So I'll show that here so you can see what the empowered ability can do. Okay, and so we have our empowered abilities here. Really the only thing that gets empowered is the riveting Daka, and what that does is allows you to attack up to 3 enemy units with the rivet cannon with -4 attacks and -2 damage per shot. The targets will lose all their overwatch, and they'll gain -15 accuracy, 1 movement that'll last for 2 turns, and then you'll have 1 turn cooldown for that ability. So this could definitely help you really take out a lot of guys, because or really mess up a lot of guys, I should say, because you can look and see how far this ranges. I mean, it effectively goes almost all the way out to 8, and as you can see with this ability, it in fact goes out all the way to 8. And so this can really mess up a lot of anti-vehicle overwatches or other units like the Necrons or Orks, anything, or Tau especially. They're going to have a bunch of overwatch set up. That way you can just totally eliminate that, and then if with it lasting 2 turns, you know, now all of a sudden they're having a 15% accuracy, they're having a minus movement. So effectively this is like a souped up version of the multi-laser that the Astra Militarum get. And then you can close the distance and then use your Burna exhaust here. Now I don't know why it says the optimal range is 1.5. I mean, I don't understand why they're putting some of these things in here, because I think it's just going to cause more confusion to newer players, because they're going to think, oh, I can go more than one range. It should just say a range of 1 instead of 1.5, because it won't let you actually burn onto 2 tiles. So it's like, why even bother doing that? And the same thing with the rivet cannon here. I mean, it's showing that it's going to have splash potential, but then it has ×0, so it doesn't actually have splash damage. So again, why are you showing these numbers? It's just going to be confusing additional players instead of just saying that there's 0 splash, instead of giving it a damage metric here. But with that, that is the custom Boosta Blast. I think you can have some fun with these guys for sure. I think the big thing that these guys are going to do is it's now going to just make the Orks to have a pretty aggressive mechanical army here. So, you know, you can boost them up with your Pain Boys, and then you're going to start having your hero here. You probably actually still aren't going to want to use him too much unless you need to get that extra 20 momentum here with the speed boss, because it's going to be dropping their range accuracy, and they already have trouble with the ranged accuracy to begin with. But effectively you're just getting more land speeders, kind of like what the Blood Angels have, and so they're just going to be able to do cross a bunch of distance. And then if you start buffing these guys with your big mechs, you know, you're giving them additional armor, you're able to heal, you're going to be able to move them around. These rivet cannons have pretty decent range, you know, being an optimal range of 5 with 6 armor piercing. So you're going to be able to just drive around and do pretty decent damage to everybody. And then their accuracy fall off is only 3 per tile, so even when you're trying to get into range to use your free attack with the Burna exhaust, you effectively have a heavy flamer, plus you know, even more, because it goes to 4 armor piercing, and most of the flamers are around 2 to 3. This is going to allow you to do even more damage and just make this totally pop off. So this is definitely going to be a very viable unit. You just got to be careful about the volatile nature here. Now you do have multiple other options to help you with the heavy flamers, and you know, you can just get Burna Boys, and those are going to be excellent bullet sponges for you too and do good damage, and they'll get momentum gains. But quite honestly, with these guys having so much movement, having armor, you're able to buff the armor even further, and you're going to be able to heal these guys, and they're going to get all the buffs from everything else, like the Weird Boy and, you know, the Pain Boy's giving them health. I think these guys are going to be a real nightmare to deal with. So let's see if my thoughts are correct on this, and I'll play around with some multiplayer matches and see what we can do. So with that, I'm going to sign off for the day. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.